And weird shit be happening. Why these niggas be calling me, bro?
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying?
And we're back. Are y'all still here?
It's on now.
Somebody got their speaker on. We need headphones for posterity.
That's Jeff, Mr. Elijah.
And so as long as we got headphones, we're good. So I'm gonna let Jeff get his headphones together and welcome everybody to Chakra Nova Podcast, episode 6. And we are not here to take life seriously. I'm about to get on camera, but if I got something on my mouth, I apologize. I just got finished eating some damn tacos and they was good. So, I got the demo version, so I pressed a button and the ad came up. So we're gonna try to do this one more time. Everything is raw and uncut today, so I need everybody to give themselves a round of applause because you made it here. You're alive today. You breathing. You got your butt squeezed. And if you did not get your butt squeezed, my man Dark Secret is here to squeeze butt. So DM him. Now we got my boy Jeff Elijah. Not sure if he squeezed butts. You could DM him and ask him. Prime Harmonic is definitely not squeezing butt. So.
Especially not in Ann Arbor.
We're gonna mention that.
I thought we leaving the fans.
Nah. Since I got to squeeze butts, then he is not squeezing butts in Ann Arbor.
Okay. So I need you guys to introduce yourselves. So we're gonna start with Jeff first.
Oh, you got to unmute Jeff. Unmute.
All right, yeah, sorry about that. Can you hear me fine?
Yeah.
Jeff Elijah, just someone who's kind of been doing this work for a little while now. Kind of as these brothers were doing the Chakra Nova series, found them, just found out about them, and definitely was like just divine time for me to connect with them, to just continue this soul work. So just here to be able to spread the good word and the message as best I can. And support anyone else who's kind of doing the same.
Word. And I'm doing a lot, trying to do a lot, trying to do a little. Engineering, science, and just trying to see spirituality in a non frou-frou kind of light. I want my spirituality to be real. And I think, like I said, that's what drew me to Hood Mystic, because he talked about it on a real level. And then Ra helped me with those honing details, making sure I keep my game right.
Yes. Peace and love to the family. Shout out to each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all for the space again. This is the Sacred Serpent. And I charge to fill butts. Okay. I do charge to fill butts.
You're going to have to put up a slide later with your fees.
Yeah, see.
You should have got at me earlier so I could have did you a nice little price list with the booty in the corner and a nice little graphic art. You feel me?
We're not gonna make this a booty touching contest, okay? Can we move on?
We got topics.
No, we got topics today, and none of the topics, unfortunately, include rubbing on booties. Unfortunately, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I know y'all. I know y'all salty about that.
There's no tatalicious involved.
No.
But once again, unfortunately, right? We're talking about things that are unfortunate, so we can clear that out the way, so we can get straight to the fortunate energy, right? And the fortunate energy is that we are here, we're alive, and we're breathing. So before we get into this, trying to outline some of the topics that we're going to be talking about today, y'all in a good mood. I'm in a good mood. Let's all be in a good mood, right?
Yeah.
First of all, we choosing violence today. We are going to obliterate a dogma that you guys say in your little text message groups and at your family reunions and stuff like that. So we are bringing out our machetes, and we're a peaceful bunch, right? We're not the gangster section of YouTube. However, we are choosing violence. We are getting rid of dogmas today. And we're going to discuss some topics in relation to understanding cliches that you hear in the spiritual community, things such as being spirit-led. Okay, spirit is leading me to a strip club, Prime Harmonics. What am I supposed to do?
Don't do it.
What am I supposed to do?
That might not be spirit.
Okay, so we're going to talk about that, right?
See, that's tatalicious again. She just keep coming up. She just keep coming up.
Oh man, I don't have nothing to drink and I'm thirsty. Listen, no, okay, they gave me a headache. Okay, no, no, seriously, and we're going to talk about a random post. You know, I like to talk about things on my Instagram and on my Facebook, and we got. Hold on, let me get. And everybody, get your round of applause together for our producer, Mr. Dark Serpent. Listen, this show would have not been done if he hasn't come through with these topics and organized this show. So, once again, if you need your booty rubbed, if you want somebody to talk shit to you while smoking a Newport, if you want somebody to be your best friend and not judge you and keep it a buck with you, DM Dark Serpent right now. Tell them your IG, because I don't know it. It's long and it got a bunch of numbers.
These are the moments right here when I realize I hate you. These are the moments when I realize I hate you and I start second guessing my life's choice, okay? Sacred _ serpent 0823 Sacred Serpent or ss.media@mail.com. Like
Did I lie, family? Nobody understood nothing of what this man said, but
yeah.
They will find you on IG one
Yes,
way
they
or
will.
another.
Yes, they will. I'm connected to all of these guys' pages, so it's not hard.
Okay. So yeah, we have a random topic of the day. We're going to talk about some relationships, but first off, we're going to talk about these internet gurus and why don't we have the bag like them, right? I mean,
that wasn't
for
the
real
game talk, but
no,
okay.
no.
Well,
Audible,
partially.
I didn't know we were talking about the bag. Okay, we can talk about the bag.
Audible.
I would love to talk about the bag.
I would love to talk about the bag too. You understand? But yeah, the bag is a good thing to talk about. But
make sure the bag is Louis. I hope it's Louis.
Oh man, it's cash. No,
right.
It's a cash bag. No,
it's a cash bag. It's a cash bag. It's a cash bag.
Oh, hold on. Before I get into talking shit about the topic, let me say, since we're here and y'all here, we are here. And you know, if you know anything about me, I'm going to promote some shit. Let me get a round of applause for that. But anyways, Chakra Nova, I ordered the books, family. The books is on the way. So if you order the book, April 28th, it's going to be at your doorstep. And you're going to be reading the book, and your chakra's going to be aligned. And you got the pre-order. You're getting a workbook. You're getting some stickers. You're getting some swag. My wife said, you need to make another sticker. I said, okay, wife, I'm making another sticker because, listen, you need to be reminded of one thing. You are the book, and we got the actual instruction manual. The interesting thing about the instruction manual is that you can't sue IKEA if your goddamn table is all crooked. You could have took your time.
That is a national travesty too. How the fuck? How the fuck? I can't sue them. How the you know? See, the shit that people use the court system for, and I can't sue. You know what?
You know that shit is. You know that shit is leaning. Your kids ain't never had no proper drawer. Your kids ain't had no proper drawer. They look down to the bottom of the floor. That shit is decoration.
He's talking about the drawer that can't open all the way. You talking about
it don't open all the way. You just be putting weed in there. You know that's your stash pot.
You got
that hit too close. That hit too close.
Yeah, especially if you had those drawers that was connected to them bunk beds that never came apart. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
yeah. We had to stay in those bunk beds 5 years past the time you were supposed to be in those bunk beds. Yeah.
Feet hanging all off the bottom.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You didn't want to bring no girls over because you still had bunk beds in the house. You know Listen, y'all bringing up a lot of PTSD moments for me. We need to move on.
Okay.
Let's get on topic.
Let's get on topic. I don't know how we got to. Well, of course, that's what.
My bad. Not to cut you off, but Prime Dreamwise said he got sandwich bags filled with gas, so we need to go see Dreamwise.
Chaos beam.
Dreamwise, he's talking about that gas. He's not talking about oil gas. Okay, he's talking about that gas.
Okay.
Chaos.
Okay, go ahead. So let me phrase the topic, and I'm gonna put the overlay on here because for some reason everything is glitchy, everything is weird. Probably because we're on the wave that we're on, and that's perfectly fine. But generally, sometimes the waves get choppy. But we're excellent surfers, and we know how to navigate these actual parallels and things of that nature. So let's think back to 2008, Barack Obama was a president, and Steve Harvey put out a wonderful book called Think Like a Man, Act Like a Woman. Do y'all remember that energy?
Yep, I remember that.
I definitely do, yeah.
Right. And so what you notice if you was like in the dating scene, there was a cosmic and orgasmic shift in how you were treated based upon this was a bestseller. A lot of people bought this book. You understand what I'm saying? And the concept around it was specifically think like a man, right? Steve Harvey was on TV 5 days a week.
Yep.
In the morning, in the afternoon, and at night. He worked on Family Feud.
Yeah.
Okay. He had his own little talk show. He had his own radio show. You understand? So the message and the perpetuation wasn't something that just happened to a couple of people. You can imagine that it was a particular viral phenomenon of think like a man, to which he set the table for a man by the name of Derrick Jackson. Let's say some 10 years later, Derrick Jackson comes up and says, I'm going to speak to women, for women, right? And tell women about men, but only pander to what they already believe.
Just to get some truth. I'm sorry.
Wait a second. Hold up.
I called that out. I did it.
Well, what'd you do?
I didn't mean to say that out loud. I didn't mean to say it out loud. I didn't. Did you just ask me a question? What would I do? I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
So Derrick Jackson, he panders to women in such a way that his slogan is that black men don't cheat. And at this, and so the crux of it is that around this time that he's going on a decline, another man is coming on the incline named Kevin Samuels, who tells women who call his show that the type of man that they want, they'll never get.
Mm.
Mm.
And he goes into multiple reasons as to why they're not going to get him. And he's right. But the idea is not like a valuable point, because a lot of times most people don't really make $200,000 a year, even if they are top level professionals.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not saying nothing in relation to like, you can't get this man because you're not good enough. It's more of a statistical game.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows also that women want to be in a relationship. So that's a biological. So he takes the biologics and the statistics and goes, nana, nana, boo, boo, you can't catch me, right?
Yeah.
Every day, right? So my question to you guys to start the dialogue off is, these men, whether it's Steve Harvey, Derek Jackson, Kevin Samuels, do you know about these guys, and how do you read them? And then we would go back and forth on the things that y'all say in relation to these conversations that they're having on the internet that most people take as though they're to be Bible. But if you notice a trend from Steve Harvey to Derek Jackson, that the general consensus will be that there'll be a turn on Kevin Samuels at some point. But once again, y'all could think that they are great people. So I just want to get y'all information, especially from you, Prime, like, because you are OG, you be kicking out knowledge, right? So tell us how you feel about these young men out here in these streets kicking knowledge to these young ladies about dating and things of that nature.
You're gonna be unstoppable with that machine. I see it now.
It's over.
I know. I gotta say, man, I find it laughable, and I'm just shooting straight from the hip with what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So I just find it laughable. Like, I remember when Steve Harvey's book came out, and I'm thinking, how the hell are you gonna ask a biological woman creature to think like a male biological creature and still act like herself? And I understood what he meant. He was trying to say, okay, look, ladies, if you want to get ahead, you got to kind of up your aggressive game. I don't know how else to say it, or your not putting yourself in the rear kind of game. And I think I feel like I understand his motivation. I understand that he wanted to see Black women rise. I just feel like, to me, I wouldn't take relationship advice from Steve Harvey. You know what I'm saying? You know, you look at his life, right? And I'm sure, you know, he's been through some things, bad and good, but I just can't see it. I just can't see, you know, taking relationship advice from him. And the thing that messed me up, and I never read the book, I got to say that, I'll be honest, right? I just heard people talking about it, and I heard him talking about it, but I never read the book. But just the title alone kind of messed me up. I'm like, I was raised around strong women who were pretty much the backbone of the family, not by themselves, you know, but, you know, they had some roles that they did, because in the older generations, things were kind of like, you know, yes, usually the women were the homemakers and the men went out and got money. And that's not always going to be the case. And that's not always the case. And I understand that. And I'm just not liking it, man. I just don't like it. I feel like every generation, some dude comes out with something like this, something like what Steve Harvey did. And it just hypes people up to start like a gender war. And I keep seeing
Talk about it, Brian. Talk about it.
Yeah, I keep seeing like people put out information to have one gender get the upper hand on another. And to me, it's like sickening, because we should be working together. You know what I mean? I'm not going to try and think like a woman. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know what a woman think like in this lifetime, because biologically that ain't what I am. But I can think like the man I am, and I can act like the man I am, and I can make sure that if there's a woman with me, and there is in my life now, but you know, before when I was single, I never messed with a woman that couldn't think on her own. You know what I'm saying? I ain't want nobody depending on me. I ain't want no woman asking me what she's supposed to do every 5 minutes. And by the same token, I didn't want a woman trying to explain to me what I had to be doing every 5 minutes. And my wife, one of my wife, she gave me this book before we got married, Khalil Gibran, and one of the poems in it was about marriage, and it was about the pillars of the temple. And we even had something like that in our vows, right? The man and the woman are pillars of the temple. They both stand on their own, but they both work together. Period. Yeah. So the gender war thing, I can't get with it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I saw when I saw Steve Harvey's book. And when I started seeing, I didn't really keep up with Derek Jackson, but I remember Serpent showed me some of Kevin's stuff. And when I started hearing his stuff, I was like, this ain't, to me, it just didn't sit right. It just felt like gender war. Yeah.
I like that point. I didn't ever think about that till you said that. So let's give a whole round of applause for the gender wars concept. Like, I didn't even know that's like they getting paid to incite gender wars and nobody's talking about it, but Prime is talking about it. And I really do appreciate that, because that angle is really okay. Now I see what it's about. Go ahead, Serpent.
Oh, you are unmute. I think you're on mute.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, so first I'll start from the top, and I'll just say, first off, I'm not taking relationship advice from neither one of these guys.
Okay, but wait a second.
No.
Wait a second.
All right. First of all, I'm not taking. Yeah. Second, I'm not taking relationship advice from anybody I don't know has actually been in a good relationship. Okay. That's that. And if I don't know you personally, I'm not taking a relationship advice from you. If I'm just on the phone with you, or I see you on the video and somebody tell me that you're married and you got a lot of money, like that doesn't mean anything to me. That doesn't that doesn't necessarily mean that you are a guru for relationship work. Like, that doesn't mean anything, right? So this is what society does. They prop people up only to bring them back down. First of all, there's nothing in Steve Harvey's repertoire that would say, yeah, relationships, Steve Harvey, let's do that. Because the last time I thought about relationships and Family Feud in the same sentence, the old nigga from the Kings of Comedy that looked like Richard Pryor. Like, nah. I never related anything with Steve Harvey with anything relationship wise. All right. That's one. Number two, Derek Jackson. The first thing I thought when I saw Derek Jackson or any one of his videos is he trying to get some pussy. Okay. That's the first thing I thought. Okay. Like, these new age people, they call them things like simps, and they call them things like beta males. Okay. Let's throw all that out the window. Derek Jackson is a man who was partly connected to his sensitivity, so he saw an avenue for him to use sensitive talk and sensitive tones in order for him to get a beeline straight to whatever fucking pussy that he wanted for any damaged woman that was out there willing to listen to him for whatever reason. Like, that's Derek Jackson, right? And Kevin Samuels, he rode the wave. You know, he's like a combination of the two, because they all clearly have bad relationship history. I mean, they all clearly have done something to make themselves look different than what they actually are. And I mean, Kevin Samuels, his number one job was a talent consultant, an image consultant, right? What is an image consultant? Well, that person is paid to lie, right? That person is paid to make you look better than what you actually are, right? That person is paid to make you be and seem and come across more profound than you actually really are. So his whole entire mantra is based off a fucking lie. So I think it's
Image.
funny.
Wow.
I think it's funny that so many men would love to grapple onto the catchphrases and the catch narratives that come out with Kevin Samuels and say he's speaking the truth. No, I don't think you people know the difference between truth and fact, right? So you can be manipulated with facts. You can't manipulate the truth, right?
Yeah.
I'll give you a small example, right? It
Yeah.
might be a fact that a $200,000 man wants a established, submissive, and blah 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 woman. But the truth of the matter is that man just wants it the way he wants it. That's not a real man wanting a real woman. Okay, so the difference between fact and truth is what muddies a lot of waters, and these guys have made a living off of muddying the fucking waters. So,
Mic drop.
For real. For real. I guess I'll kind of build off that. I mean, just to be honest, the starting with number one, Steve Harvey. I'm familiar with Steve Harvey just because of watching the Steve Harvey show growing up, and he didn't have no good relationships in that show. I don't think that I ever necessarily need to follow suit in that aspect of what he does. Steve Harvey is a comedian. He does make me laugh at times, but I like him for that. I don't need to. I should be open and give people space to dive into new areas and do things like that. But when someone just goes from one expertise to another and claims that they're expert in something that they've shown no work doing, I don't know if anyone should be following suit there. Derek Jackson, I mean, I've seen him on the internet, and the moment he talks, I turn it off. I can't take that man. Like I know people like that, and I bet you that guy has no real good men friends. He's someone who, in my opinion, like Hood said, likes to kind of, and just everyone said, Rod too, but kind of plays on that sensitivity and yeah, just plays to what women want to hear. And me being kind of the young guy in the group, and being kind of the youngest individual, I can see the effect that has had, and kind of to your point, Prime, too, about that gender war. That there's something going on that within a lot of folks that everyone thinks that there's a competition going on. It just doesn't have to be that way, but for some reason that's just all that's being pushed. So that's something that folks are really experiencing in real time that needs to be addressed and things like that.
Can we talk about this real quick? And I don't want to. I mean to cut you off, but I don't mean to. I want to ask you a question based upon what you're referencing, because it's something that maybe you can articulate better than I can, because it's something that most men feel, but they're never in a space where they can articulate it. But feeling competition, whether within your relationships or just as simple as like dating a little shorty from around the way, she want to race you to the bedroom and see who could take their clothes off the fastest and things of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, lady, like, let's take our time, or you can win. You win. But no, but seriously, what's your experiences, if any, with feeling competed against, and how does that make you feel?
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, it's like it's a real thing, and it's something that just doesn't have to be there, that people think that just they don't see that they feel as though they need to compete, and in the sense of dealing with women, things that have happened recently, when you try to give and offer them what you have, and then they take that, and they I don't, just an example. I was seeing a lady a few months ago, and she just always had this thing about women are more important than men. And I would always, she would say that, like, I think, men need women more than the other. And I said, I mean, I'll be honest. I don't see how y'all would survive without us. It's equal. We need each other. Like, it shouldn't be this.
Didn't James Brown say that?
Yeah, but these folk that we have listed here, that's not what they preaching.
They're not singing James Brown song.
Nah, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
He said it wouldn't be nothing.
Yeah, man. And it's like, and women are suffering for it. They're suffering for this message. They're losing good men. They're losing good men, and then they're just kind of out there, on their own, kind of trying to figure stuff out. And oftentimes, that when someone's kind of feels kind of like they're out there, they're gonna take whatever comes, next to grab them up, and usually that's not the best thing for them, It's not the best thing for them. Yeah, real time stuff.
You're a younger guy, so you're coming into this as an experiential experience, and it's hard to process. I'm kind of an older person where I remember the shift where the concept think like a man wasn't a concept, right? Women thought like women, and that wasn't a knock or a shade or like, damn, we need y'all to start thinking more like men because we struggling. That wasn't the thing. It was a promotion. It was a marketing scam. And it was like a understanding like, okay, think like a man. And then the book, and then the movie, and then the person who perpetuates the message 5 times a week. So it's more of like a consensus between the black diaspora to think like a man, right? But now what I'm saying is that initial vibration isn't like I seen it when it wasn't like that. So within my relationship, it's not necessarily really like that for real. You know what I'm saying? It's more of a, like you said, a union and you get input, I get input type of balance that kind of works for me and my wife. And now it might work different for other couples. But what I'm saying is that it's not a completely generalized thing. And I know it may seem like that, like being young and maybe like as you begin to travel and get older and like see other places, like even further out, like maybe even different countries, you will kind of get a more balanced sense on like women as a whole. But I would say like, don't overgeneralize and overstigmatize the concept of like, what you might be experiencing, because I see it happening on the other flip. And then I'm like, well, like say for instance, if a person was like, well, dudes will steal your goddamn wallet when you sleep at night, and it's like they will, but not out, like not the guys that I hang out with, you feel me? So it's generally one of those things that you gotta kind of really be careful about, and I just wanted to kind of share that with you.
And I'm with you there, and to that point, another thing I'll say is that when you are dealing with, of course, you're dealing with a certain type of women. I'll say those experiences occur when with kind of the women who are more just in the masses, who are doing just out here, to be honest. At the same time, me and doing this work, I have been able to reconnect and growing up when I was in school, when I was in like, I think Like a Man, you said came out in 2009. I remember like my high school relationships and things like that. That was the year I graduated. They weren't like that. I knew real people in my town who were really from here and who really were, when you reconnect, back to the roots and to people that are really connected, I don't have those experiences. But where I live in a place, where a lot of people who are here are not from here, and you deal with a lot of different people, and that's what I mean. It's more so the just the overall kind of consistency of things. But to your point, appreciate. I definitely have experienced both sides, should I say?
Mm-hmm. And I also say the reason why dudes can't be mad is because it's guys' fault. Because guys started it when they started listening to that hibbity hop shit. And the idea that Kevin Samuels perpetuates is that you can have sex with a woman without them being a husband, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you
Mm-hmm.
can't have
Mm-hmm.
sex and not be her husband and not take care of the child. But men cannot handle a woman's emotions because they listen to niggas like Kevin Samuels, where I can give you, if I told you how to walk to 7-Eleven from your store, it sounds great. The direction, take a left at the light, walk up the street. But then when you get home, you realize you ain't got no legs. Them directions is irrelevant to the whole entire point, that to understand deeper, subtle emotions requires you to shut the fuck up and listen to the emotional tone. For which, if you try to override emotional tones with logic, then you fucked up. And then niggas fucked up because there's no way that I'm gonna have sex with a woman and she's not gonna be my wife. Period.
Right.
You can't move. You cannot move in this matrix, sticking your dick in things and not taking care of the child.
The result.
Now, if you step up and you try to be a child and she say, look, I don't want you here. I don't want you around these kids. The way that the law is set up, fam, you got to go. Right? But other than that.
Word.
But hip-hop, Kevin Samuels included, think that you can just smash some shit and dash on some shit, but that's ruin. He talks about like building us up as people, but then he says, well, if you can smash some shit, but you can't have your cake and eat it too and be serious about legacy building and nation building. Because when you having sex with somebody, the concept is out the window. You start catching feelings for her. You down doing things that you wouldn't normally do. You have a sexual relationship. But any final thoughts on the Derrick Jackson? I know we kind of went on a somewhat of a tangent on these guys, but I would like to get your final thoughts on the subject.
Gender-wise, go ahead. Gender-wise, and gender wars are based in competition, and those competition realities come down from society. So growing up your whole life, they were telling you that it was a man's world. And then it went to a point where most of these women were supposedly raising kids without a man in the household. And then it went from that to a woman doing everything that she could to gain her own self-independence. Well, the self-independence thing was absolutely needed, and it's awesome. The only problem is now there's no need for what you and your idea of a man is. There's no need for a man now. Now there's no man that could tell you anything. It don't matter how good the sex is. Now it doesn't matter what the man represents or what kind of man he is or what kind of man he is capable of being, because you're independent. You don't need him no more. So the society has created these fallacies in which, when a person gains their independence, they automatically think that they just don't need the other person. They don't need anyone. And it couldn't be further from the truth, right? So I'll dispel one of those things, and you can dispel whatever else after this, but this is my last point. They say a real woman can't raise a man. Well, my mother raised two. So there was no man in the house, though. So when a woman takes on that role, and she's good in taking on that role and being that role, regardless of what she creates from that role, that's her role. Right? So when a man has a problem with what a woman is capable of doing, then it's really the man's fault. But you can't fault the man for wanting to find his space when there's no space left for him. So
Right.
That was dope. And
Well, Jeff,
Go ahead, Jeff. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, no, not my point was just like the list of guys that we've shown. In my opinion, I would just say are seasonal. Those guys, like in their messages, it's a seasonal. As seasons change, and you know, people forget forget very very quickly. At the same time, you know, remember what you put your attention to. You know, grows into a lot. So. Be careful listening to the folk who have seasonal messages.
I like that. I like that. Yeah. Hold on, come here. Good night, baby. Come here. I gotta quick. Bless her heart. Come here. Yeah, I'll get no good night hug. All right, see, my daughter treating me wrong. I don't get no good night hug. Oh, thank you, baby. Yeah, my only parting message on that is you know, to me, I too, Ra, was raised in a household where even though I knew my dad and my dad was around in another state, it was my mother who raised me and my brother, and she raised two men. And I remember the advice that I gave. I remember the advice that I gave a young mother when she was concerned about raising her son without a man nearby. And I said, the best thing you could do for him is to show him how you love yourself. Show him how, you know, you're willing to love yourself, because the only way he's going to learn how to love a woman is if he sees you learning how to love yourself.
Ashe.
And it's not the women's fault. You know, a lot of times in this thing, we could, if a man has sex with you, then the overall gist of the idea back before you thought like a man was that I'm hopefully hanging out with my future husband, right? That's what the pheromones is for. That's what the biology for a certain way, you know. But then what tends to happen is you got the pussy and you ran, right? Got the pussy and went home and played PS4 or PS1 back in those days, right? But now we to a time where we awakening ourselves to who we are as spiritual beings, and you can't move like that, right? Can't move like that. So once again, I mean, you can try, but it's gonna fuck up your spiritual journey real hard. So in the random quote of the day, the quote is, you should, I'm a ask Prime, not Prime, but Dark Serpent, like what he thought about because he brought it up. He produced the show. Hold on. For producing the show, if I don't give you a round of applause for that, I got it.
Word.
He produced the show, and he came up with this quote, and it was something that I was thinking about earlier. As I'm like preparing my post for Instagram, I'm kind of working on a theme of like sexual energy and commerce. So I'm thinking of my sexual energy as if it was money. And so, like, just say, for instance, if my sexual energy was related specifically to my wife as it was money, if my wife wasn't my wife didn't know how to cook, if my wife didn't know how to like sew clothes and make shoes, you know, then I would have to give, like, you know, what would I do if I didn't, like, I needed to buy some clothes, but my wife said, you can only use your money or your sexual energy with me. Then I probably wouldn't have no shoes. I probably wouldn't have no clothes. Probably wouldn't have no computer. Definitely wouldn't have no computer, because my wife could probably sew some clothes together, and I probably could be presentable. But she's not super tech savvy, so we thus. And once again, I'm just working with analogies. I'm really working on trying to create the concepts that will bring about freedom, not within you being single, but within in your relationships, because it's real easy to get into a relationship, and it's real easy to be locked and tied down within that relationship, into which you is now single, but you done had the children, you done bought the house, you done got credit cards in each other names and shit. So it ain't that easy just to pack up and leave. And you want to create a positive image for your children, and you doing the spiritual journey and you tapped into masculine and feminine energy, but at the same time, your energy may be suppressed. So why I'm keeping up these conversations and dialogues going is because that's what's going to happen in your relationship unless you create the dialogues into situations to say, I love you and I want you to be my wife. I want you to be my husband. But my sexual energy might not be the only place that you might not be the only place that I shop with. I might go somewhere else. And I know that's a difficult conversation if you was raised in a situation that your wife is constantly giving you ultimatums. You're either going to do this or I'm going to file divorce and I'm going to take half of your money, or you're not going to be able to drive my car. You know, whatever the case may be, you know how women will have some shit used against you, or men will have some shit used against you and give you the ultimatum. Yeah, I know you're a sexual being. I met you at a strip club, but you gonna stop that now that you my girlfriend now. Well, sir, it ain't gonna necessarily work like that if your wife is a hottie thotty too trotty. You understand what I'm saying? So, and another thing to this, what I was thinking about was that if I can't be so honest with them, in my authentic self, then I'll never be that. Because it's easy to do it when you're single and by yourself, but you can't really flex. Like you can't really reflect on truth by yourself because you're fucking delusional, right? You're just doing whatever the fuck you want to do when you want to do it, and you don't have nobody holding you accountable. But I want to be free and held accountable, right? Not free like have you been doing the wrong things, but I want to be free in a space where have you been your free, true, happy self today?
Yes.
How can I assist you in that? You understand?
To be happy,
that's where I'm going to reach my freedom at. But I want freedom for y'all and y'all relationships. And for the single guys out there, I want you to assert the fact that you are a sexual being, and the sexual being women out there who might not be satisfied with one partner, might have a high sexual appetite, but might deal with a man based upon survival. You living in the ultimatum world. So that's kind of where this post came from. Yeah. And what was your thoughts on it? First, you, Sacred, because you brought it up. You produced this whole show, and I don't even think I even gave you a fucking round of applause for that. So let me go ahead and do that.
Are we done? Are we done? Are we good now? We good?
You should be venerated.
I do feel a bit of vindication and validation from the round of applause. So I do appreciate that.
It feels good, doesn't it? I'm gonna do it again.
It feels good. It feels good.
The nigga ain't never had nobody clap for him.
I know.
Too many niggas clapping for Kevin Samuels and Derek Jackson.
One more time. Hey.
So I'm about to text Mama Mystic and have her take that out your hand right now. Right now. Okay. So I brought it up because I thought it was interesting, right? So I'm probably the only single person on this panel, right?
Jeff will play for the Himalayas.
Because he's different. He's different. He hit different. You know what I'm saying? He hit different. So what I thought about was the reality of being an extremely sexual individual and then that thing being repressed when you're in a relationship, right? So can the average person in a relationship, can they look at a good-looking person while their partner is there? You know, can the average person in a relationship, can they have that conversation with another person and be like, you know what? I was real good this week. I was real good all year. You know what I'm saying? I was faithful. I ain't cheat on you. I ain't do nothing. And I was just wondering if I was going to be allowed like a weekend or something. You know what I'm saying? Like these are conversations I feel should be had. You understand?
Yeah.
And the reason why I feel like these conversations should be had is because nobody is really talking about it and nobody thinks that it's something that's serious, you know.
Right.
But what if that person does need to get their rocks off somewhere else and you just don't want to provide that, right? So Does that mean that
Everybody
person
ain't coming at you on that totalicious shit? I'm gonna just
yeah. Everybody ain't. But what I'm saying is, if you're transparent in the beginning, right? Can that lead to more freedom within the relationship, or is that something that you got to keep under wraps, and then you get in a relationship and then you want to bring it out? You know what I'm saying? So I think freedom is free for you to be whoever it is that you want to be within that relationship, as long as it doesn't disrespect the other person. So as long as I'm not disrespecting you and I come to you and I tell you that Tata Delicious got a fat ass and I like to look at Tata Delicious, I should be allowed to look at Tata Delicious. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, because I told you up front that Tata Delicious got a fat ass, and I like to look at Tata Delicious' ass because her ass inspires me. Like, she is a goddess, okay? Don't you talk bad about her. She is a goddess, okay? If I told you that straight up front, like, then there's no reason for you to feel like
nah, your shorty ever came in like, babe, you gotta watch this Ayala Van Zant video, right? She's fixing somebody's life, right? So you gotta be able to come through with that same energy with Knife Ward Judy with the wake and shake, like, babe, she inspiring us to levitate and grow and be our most productive self. Right? It's just I'm New Orleans bounce booty shake music. And what's wrong? I would put her and Ayana Van Zant in a fight club and see who win. And just see how this thing plays out.
Let's be clear.
I'm not
saying freedom. Yes, but let's be clear. I'm not saying freedom is freedom for me to get in a relationship with you so I could think about trying to fuck somebody else. No, that's not what I'm saying. When I say freedom.
Make it plain.
Okay. When I say freedom, I mean, am I allowed to be who I was before you met me? Am I allowed to be the person I was before you met me? Or am I supposed to be a whole new person now that we're together? That's what freedom is to me.
Man, can I go next? Because that leads right into what I was thinking.
Go ahead.
So in my life, I've found that the biggest problems that I've had in relationships were because I was not presenting all of who I was at the beginning of the relationship.
There we go.
Like as a youngin', I was like trying to show, okay, yeah, I could do this, I could do that, I got this. What you need, right? You know, but as I got older, you know, it'd be like, yeah, okay, but I got this baggage I'm trailing behind me too. You got to understand, I can't run that fast. I got to carry this bag. And then it was like, well, why you got to carry the bag? I'm like, okay, you're right. And, you know, my relationships, the more I was willing to be authentically who I am, not just, let me say it a different way.
The
more I was willing to be 100%
from the job sometime, you know.
Right.
Go ahead. Hey, can you pick me up? Looking ass boy.
I thought you had a car.
I thought you was driving. That was my uncle's car. He was letting me go to the store. I just happened to see you. You thought that was my car. I just didn't tell you. That wasn't my car.
Exactly. So it's like, I don't know. I was blessed. I don't know how else to say it. I don't know why I kept going that way, but it's something that I felt like every relationship I got in successively, I was being, all right, Sacred Serpent, it's from the pre-talk. I was being more and more vulnerable. I was allowing myself to show more of who I was in each successive relationship, and each successive relationship got better and better and better. And I think that the major problem with a lot of folk is they ain't coming to the table with their 100%. They sitting in their hut and they got a little window cut out and they showing you 10%. Hey, this is me. I'm just 10% staring at you through this window, through this hut, but you can't see what else is in the hut. It's just this. This is all you get to see. And it's like, okay, yeah, if you want a relationship with a hut and a window and the person staring through it, cool, you can go that route. Me, I want somebody that's outside the hut. I want somebody that's willing to be vulnerable with me and grow with me, because that's the only way you're going to grow in a relationship. Now, I think once you get that level of self-knowledge and relationship knowledge down, if you got to negotiate something where you got to be off for a weekend or she got to be off for a weekend, then at least you can do it honestly.
In the door from the jump.
Yeah. Because if you don't come in as 100% you, then that part that you left out is going to kick your ass.
It's going to come back. It's going to come back. And it's going to have you looking real stupid on the side of the road, scratching your booty. Like, I thought you was with such and such. Yeah, she kicked me out because I wasn't 100 from the gate.
Yep.
So, ultimatum energy. How does being in a relationship and the lady in your life, maybe this never happened to you, said, you better do this or I'm going to do that, and it ain't nothing you can do about it. Have y'all ever been in a situation like that? And is that some normal stuff to experience? And how did that make y'all feel, if y'all feel anything?
Oh, every relationship I was in with an ultimatum, I ended. So, next.
Yep. And I tried that. I tried that with one of the relationships I was in. I was like, I knew that I wasn't really in a good position with her because it was long distance, right? And she was the type that she really needed somebody there most of the time, if not all the time. But I was trying to be like, nah, we gotta keep it just us. And I wasn't willing to see any other way. And that's exactly what she did. What Serpent said, she ended it. She was trying to ghost me, and I wasn't taking that, and I was fighting it, but I had to Swayze, man. I had to disappear out of her life, because I was trying to stand firm in my ultimatum, and I wasn't willing to change. So,
yeah, I'm not good with authority. Sorry, but I'm not good with authority. So whenever I'm presented with an ultimatum, you will almost always get like,
and I should have known better because I ain't
good
with it either.
Authority. So go ahead, Jeff. My bad.
No, I'm with you there. As far as ultimatum, like
that's real.
No, for real. Yeah, I had to digest that a little bit, but at the same, like me being who I am, that's why I'm not somebody who's tried to be in long-term relationships. I'm your friend. Like make that clear. I'm your friend. In my experiences, I've seen that women maybe this is just me, but just me say this is oftentimes when a man comes and approaches a woman, they think that a man is usually just trying to get in, trying to sleep or trying to go that route. When honestly, I'm sincerely a type of guy who really just wants to get to know who you are for real. And that's something
that's cold. I'm sorry, but that's code for hit later. Go ahead.
And leaving the door open.
What's the point?
Make sure it's wet.
Where's the sound effects? Where's the sound effects for that one? Because he lying. He lying. Where's the sound effects for that? This nigga lying. He's lying so many ways on Sunday. He's presenting this awesome facade. This nigga lying. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I am not sorry. This nigga lying. He is Mr. Hit Later, okay?
If something happens, it happens, man.
If it don't, you all right?
I'm cool with it. But but really, that's not. I don't be on that from the get go. But that's so kind of rare. Like everybody gonna be, they have their defenses up, and it's like, if folk really just trusted and was just free with their energy and just gave them without expectations or trying to always bring in kind of past their past traumas into what could be new. Goddamn. Let me leave it at that.
Hood call it the sob story.
I mean, that's nothing that you're never going to get away from, because it's interesting. Like, we can have dialogues and diatribes about it, but say for instance you want to get into a real dating scenario. On your first date, what's generally going to happen is she's going to break out into the reason for which she is single, and it's generally traumatic and a horrendous letdown because biologically she's supposed to be with that person, right? But ideologically, right, it's a multiple reasons as to why. but it's generally for things that we don't talk about and things that we don't know. Things such as like postpartum depression or emotional or understanding the nature of a woman, as opposed to saying, all right, here goes these rules, think like a man. And now once they don't actually come across with the thoroughness as a man, because she's not a man, the same way as I would say, all right, walk up the street, and you would say, well, I don't have no legs. And you're like, well, everybody got legs. You got legs. I know you got legs. Walk your ass up the street. And you would be very frustrated if you were the coach of somebody or the advisor of somebody trying to get them up the street. But your coaching style was, tough love or whatever, but they literally had no legs.
Yeah.
So at a certain point, when I'm in my relationships, the idea is to simply honor the biological understanding. And what tends to happen when you are honest about the things that you do, you'll get a emotional reaction from your wife. It'll have you think twice about the things that you're thinking about, the things that you're feeling, because maybe she's thinking like a man and she's like, oh, I'm logical. I can deal with a man and you can have hoes. I don't care, nigga. Have all the bitches you want. And then you like, well, here go my friend Stacy. Oh, for real? For real? You gonna really do that? Oh, nigga, you know what I'm saying? Like that, right? And you like, wait, you just said that we was cool and we was logical and you was thinking like a man. That guy, man, I'm gonna beat your ass. Like,
Stacy is that bitch. Stacy is Dr. Alicia's cousin.
Yeah, Stacy's ass. Gonna get her ass beat up, right?
I was listening to Abraham Hicks, like my wife. I listen to Abraham a lot, right? But it's what's her name? I can't even remember the lady's real name now. One day she was like, "You listening to that bitch again?"
Esther.
Yeah. So I started calling her. And I was like, "Yo, baby, I'm just listening to that bitch."
Wow.
Listen to my side hoe. Hilarious. You a nasty dude if your side chick name is Esther.
Yeah, that's
you nasty. If you going to see somebody named Esther on the slide, that's gross.
That's like calling out a name Ruth. That's like saying Ruth, nigga.
Oh, that's Ruth. Even nastier. I'm about to go kick it with my homegirl Ruth. I'm just gonna go right off the rip. No. Tell Ruth. See somebody that look good.
Tell Ruth come sit on my face. See, it don't even.
It don't sound right.
It don't.
That's nasty.
See,
well, now you know why pet names
just felt
were
like
invented.
80-year-old pussy was sat on my face this time.
See, well, we gotta switch topics right now.
Yeah, man.
Right now. We're immediately switching topics.
I am a sexual being. Where's my special effects at? Damn it! I am a sexual being. Damn it!
That ran away. I said, hold up, I've been tripping, y'all. I got grandma. I'm watching this video of my grandma. My grandma getting turned on, and I don't feel comfortable now. I thought she was gonna like the hood mystic.
That ain't counting all the spirits that's turned on right now. You got mad spirits turned on behind you right now. They're like,
my grandmama like watching Family Feud with Steve Harvey. I'm just saying.
Listen, tie it all
she ain't gonna watch it no more. She ain't gonna watch it no more.
Not after watching this video. Listen, we waking up the masses here. No, seriously. In the space of doing like this chakra work and executing like this work is an internal process. So throughout the year, we have a lot of fun. We kind of like use this platform to get really loose and have fun and just have normal everyday banter. And the reason that we do that is because we work so very hard on other aspects about our spiritual development. We don't like mumbo jumbo spirituality that can't be referenced and re-referenced and re-referenced and re-referenced and told to your mama, to your grandma. She like, Grandma, watch this YouTube video, Chakra Nova. She like, girl, I know I was going to get turned on today, but hey, I'm about to sit on this young man's face. But that's what we do at the Chakra Nova family. We
Tell
speak to
Roof I
everybody.
just shaved too. Tell Roof I just shaved.
Not with that Steve Harvey though, man. That mustache.
I don't know. Roof is nasty. Get off Roof.
Roof is a decrepit bitch. We don't want Roof. Okay, we don't want Roof.
Ruth, Esther. But the good thing about my channel is that it caps off at 65. Like, you ain't watching this past 65. So Ruth, Esther,
tell Joan to go downstairs. Tell Joan to go downstairs.
Cheryl Ann's ass. Take y'all ass to sleep, you know. Watch Steve Harvey Family Feud.
That's right.
And take a nap, right?
Tell Gretchen it's tea time. Tell Gretchen it's tea time.
And this is for whoever invited y'all grandma to the Chakra Nova podcast. Don't ever do that again, because you know I got Dark Serpent on here. Man.
You're gonna get in trouble.
Looking at you like you are strange.
I will never stop talking about Delicious. I don't care what y'all say. I will never stop talking about Delicious. Okay,
you better not. You better not.
It just sounds so good coming off my tongue. Delicious. Come on, man.
No, but in doing this chakra work, the thing about doing it, the inner work, it for me personally, and I'm sure for the guys too. I mean, especially for Prime, because he brought up this topic. So, listen, I was in the car all day, and I never had no input on none of these topics. So thank you to Prime Harmonic and Dark Serpent for
you didn't have no input at all.
I was just kind of sitting back and observing the road. So thank you to y'all. But
he got a different image. He got a different image for the people than he do for everybody else.
We were talking about this. That was the first topic.
In order to be me, I have to be a fake ass nigga sometimes. And I tell people this from the jump. Sometimes I'm fake as fuck. Sometimes I look at you so strange. And you'll be like, I thought that you was my friend and buddy, happy dude from YouTube. You're looking at me like you don't give a fuck about me. And I will tell you, I probably don't right now. And I'm sorry, because sometimes I'm not worth shit. And I didn't ask for this spiritual shit to be talking about this. Listen, I want to drive a truck and be a truck driver thotty. I wanted to go city to city and pull up and say, baby, come pick me up. The truck is up. I'm on my 13-hour rest. I'm about to come lay it down on your ass. Right?
That's right.
I'm in town, right? I wanted to be a truck driver thotty. My spirit said, that's too much. That's too easy for your thought ass. We're going to rearrange your whole life. You're going to be on this spiritual journey. So I say all of that to say, you know, I'm very much in my spiritual path, being spiritually led, but I want you guys to bring up some obstacles and recognizing being spiritually led versus being a truck driver thotty, pulling up in different cities saying, hey, baby, I'm in town. Come pick me up. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was my spirit leading me, but it wasn't. So how do you know the difference out here in the streets?
What if you waking up outside of gratitude, then you got work to do. Period. If you waking up and the first thing on your mind ain't, I'm alive, you know, I got air, there's a roof, right? You know, I'm breathing, right? Oh, snap, I do have legs, you know what I mean? If you waking up thinking, man, I gotta fucking do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do that, I gotta see this person, you know, that ain't the move, right? So for me, I know it's hard, okay? I know it's hard because every time I thought I was being spiritually led, spirit came and gave me some other event that knocked me on my ass to show me, nah, you ain't being as spiritually led as you thought you was. There's some more of this ego mindset you got to get rid of, right?
Can you help me? Will you help me? Because you're going to talk about some stuff and I might forget about this, but before you get there, how do you feel about a long checklist of spiritual rigmarole that another motherfucker or another person will give you to do about following your spiritual journey? Is that okay with you, or do you find an issue in it?
I'm trying not to curse real bad. It will really piss me off. I could have said that a different way, but I'm trying real hard to be the shepherd.
I love it when this nigga shows his age. Oh my God. I listen. I love it when he shows his age. I swear, he said, "I'm gonna do some real cursing right here." I didn't know you were supposed to announce when you was gonna curse. When you curse.
Nah, I said I wasn't gonna curse, man. Shoot, I can't, because if I start cursing about how that pissed me off, man, I ain't gonna stop.
My God.
It's when somebody show up to me with a list, and especially if that list has some results I'm supposed to have, I want to roll that list up and shove it up their ass and light a match to it. Period. You know, because everybody, you can't. There is no one formula to divinity. Every living being that's on the planet is connected to the Most High. And for every living being that's on the planet, that's a pathway to God. Dr. George Washington Carver saw it in the flowers. I see it in engineering. Somebody else might see it in poetry. One person might see it in another person's eyes. They might see it in how they treat their children or their family, or how they, that next topic. But I'm just saying, there's so many ways. There's so many ways to the Creator. For somebody to sit up here and give me a list, I just can't roll with that. I can't roll with that at all. Now, if they give me a list and say, hey, these are some of the things that I experienced in my journey, some of them might be familiar to you. If they are, let me know, and I'll let you know what I did. That's a whole different can of worms. I'm like, cool. If I feel that way, I'll let you know. I'll holler at you, because I ain't never meet nobody else that went through that. So maybe you can help me. That I'm good with. But when you tell me it's an ultimatum, right? You give somebody a list, and these are the things that you must go through before you become spiritually evolved. That's an ultimatum. And we know what Serpent does with ultimatums.
Kick rocks, nigga.
Kick rocks. That made me think about, like, I was getting a channel from a Norse goddess or whatever, Freya or something like that. And then I got on YouTube, Freya.
Okay.
And I'm Googling Freya stuff. And then it was like this priestess of Freya. And I was like comfortable with her, watching her videos, because that was her shit. Like, it wasn't like she was saying, you gotta fuck with Freya. You know what I'm saying? She was like, I fuck with Freya, and this is what the fuck I do to honor Freya. And I'm like, thank you, because I needed this. Meaning to say, like, during a spiritual journey, you might get into some Freya shit, and it might be somebody that understand Freya, and you can learn from them based upon your personal intuition that Freya might be trying to speak to you, and then already spoke to somebody else. And not to say that Orisha is bad or Ifa is bad, because generally it worked for me, especially coming out of church, right? Very beneficial, but it was also intuitive, right? So I don't necessarily think that these spiritual paths is wrong per se, but I think if you never got a channel from Freya and you like, well, Hood Mystic said I should do some Freya shit. Now you all fucked up. Now you getting off on the exit. Your GPS didn't even tell you to get off on. It told you
can't sit like IKEA for your cricket furniture.
Yeah, and now you mad when you open up your dresser and it's like, well, Hood said, no, Hood didn't say nothing. I just was talking about an experience. But go ahead.
Now you got that dollar store TV stand, nigga.
So that's about it, man. And as far as being spiritually led, like I said, I am peeling off layers of mind, ego, whatever you want to call it, daily. It is for every year of my life I've been on the planet, I've been influenced, what you call it, imagery, right? I've had programming, I've had all kinds of things that I have to deal with, that when I see it pop up in my reality, I have to be bold enough to address it right then and there and say, wait a minute, this is something I learned from kindergarten or from Miss So-and-so or Mr. So-and-so. This is not really who I am. I'm trying to live up to a standard that somebody told me or taught me. How do I find out who I am? I have to peel off that layer and be vulnerable for a minute and see how I honestly react in the situation, and then evaluate how I reacted in that situation. And if I want to change something, change it. And that happens every day. Every day I'm honing myself. And then with the help of y'all, iron sharpeth iron, right? Every day. Mm-hmm. Oh, Levi got a good question there. Yeah, y'all mind if I say something to this? I'm gonna shut up.
Go ahead, go for it.
So I can, from my personal experience, Levi, I've had various deities show up in my dreams or in my meditations. But what I've learned is that they're aspects of me. They represent higher aspects of my energy. And the deity is how my mind communicates easiest with that higher aspect of myself. So I'm not about to get on my knees to no imaginary God. I'm not about to, throw my life away or my earnings away to something that I don't feel within myself. You know what I'm saying? So what I've learned is that, okay, if I get a certain deity show up to me, I research that deity and I say, what aspects of this deity closely match how I act? And what are they trying to show me? What are they trying to tell me? Are they trying to tell me that I'm too hype, that I need to calm down? I'm not hype enough, that I need to do more in this area or do more in that area? So like, say if Heteru, Oshun, they call him, her. Everybody likes to call her Oshun. I think of her as Heteru because of Osera Set. But if Oshun shows up to you, then that means that your higher self is trying to tell you that you need some more sweetness in your life. You need some more of that gentle feminine in your life in some aspect, in some area. Does it mean that you need to become a stone cold devotee to Oshun for the rest of your life? No. But should you listen to it? Yeah. Research the deity. If you get a deity showing up, research, do your homework. So
I like that because some people will get a download and be like, oh well, this means everything. I should start a church in honor of. But I mean, not to say that that's wrong, because that's what a secret society is, right?
Yep.
It's all centered around a particular energy or deity that's real, to which if I told you, you would call me crazy. That's why we keep it a fucking secret, because these motherfuckers always think that you're crazy. But you got to understand that there are non-physical entities that are out here. So to know the difference between a deity reaching out to you and receiving a channel is that you first got to understand it to be real. You got to understand non-physical modalities such as electricity, such as engineering, such as, marine biology, because what these things tend to do is tell you about a world that exists underneath the world that you live in that's probably more important than the world that you live in. But since you don't observe it, you don't think that it exists. So once you get into the modality, say such as electricity, you get into alternating currents and things of that nature, and you can get an electricity book and your spirit will break down what it needs to take from that energy. Now, to understand if you're receiving a channel or not, you would then have to understand that it's not about receiving a channel. It's like, how do I know if I'm turned into the hip hop channel when I get into my car? You don't think that fucking 107.9 is going to come down from heaven and say, your number one hip hop and R&B station is playing Gucci Mane Lemonade, right? and you like, damn, that is so fucking profound. Fucking 1079 came down to me and played Gucci Mane Lemonade in my brain, and I did the fucking Tootsie Roll and fucking Millie Rock, right? That was such a profound spirituality experience. So the idea between, if you're receiving a channel, you have to tune into the frequency and be aware. So don't tell me about receiving a channel and you ain't slumming along these graveyards. Right?
Yeah. You
gotta do something.
You ain't connecting specifically to energies that have transitioned that so say for instance, spiritual community will say, oh, nobody dies, you just transition to the afterlife. Well, in that case, what energy are you tuning into? I will tune into Aretha Franklin in a heartbeat. I'll talk to Aretha Franklin in a heartbeat. Y'all listen, niggas know me. You tell me what channel you want me to tune into so I can listen to the music. I'm not waiting for shit.
Right.
I'm not waiting for nothing.
Right. Yeah. I be seeking Richard Pryor in my days, man, because I be like trying to turn I can't even call it tragedy no more because it's been so much comedy. Anytime I have problems or things that pop up that I need to look at or deal with, I've stopped doing it from that place of, oh, I got to hurry up. Oh, it's an emergency, right? I say, what would Richard Pryor say? And then I might get a chuckle, and then I'll go into the situation with a more light heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Y'all get in on this topic, Prime.
Go in, Jeff. You've been quiet for a little bit.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things I could touch on. Kind of that last point, as far as kind of channeling, just something I do in my life is in my way of making sure that I respect ancestors. Anybody who I look up to, music I love, whose entertainment did something for me, I make sure that I save their birth date and their transition date in my phone, and I make sure that I celebrate both. And every year I celebrate both. I mean, every day. Like you used to talk about Aretha Franklin. I'm gonna put on some Aretha Franklin, "Baby Come Back to Me," or "Respect" or whatever. But I make sure that I really. Like their birthday, they still here, so I'm gonna celebrate their birthday for them. I'm gonna, when on the other side, I have this thing about like I've never been to New Orleans, but I feel like I got this thing with New Orleans, and I love how they celebrate people when they go over. So that like I know that when it's my time, I want people to celebrate me like I see those folks being celebrated. Please don't be sad about me. When it's my time to go. I chose to go, and I was happy about how I go out. So please always celebrate me, and that's how I look at making sure I celebrate the ancestors, and that's how I pay my respects.
That's dope.
Yeah, I'm big on Otis. I fucks with Otis a lot. Otis is my guy. I'm really big on Rick James now too, since I met Hood Mystic.
Yeah.
That's my sexuality, bitches. Okay, that's my sexuality.
That's a t-shirt.
That's a slogan. I'm sexual. It seemed like Rick James would enter a conversation like, I'm sexual.
Yeah. Period.
Ripping the shirt off.
That seemed like some Rick James
talking about transparency, right? Like he was coming from the door with that, bitch. I'm sexual.
I'm sexual.
Okay?
Word.
Okay.
Word.
No, I think Prime touched on it really well, and so did Jeff. But when you recognize certain deities and certain energies that are messing with you, a lot of them are trying to help you uncover things within yourself. So when the energy is then thrust back into yourself, you know what I'm saying, and you try and find that place where that energy fits, right? I think the difference between knowing if it's divine or not is basically based on your own personal discernment, So like Hood said, you have to approach these things as if they are real anyway. So if they're not real in your mind, then it's not going to be real regardless of what it is you think is trying to come through to you. So I think it's key in knowing which energies are matching up with which deities or which gods or goddesses you're dealing with, and then trying to understand what that deity represents and then what that deity represents in you. So
and that energy is coming from some hormonal release, no doubt, which is coming from some chakra center, no doubt.
I'm sexual, bitches. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Sacral serpent.
I thought I was gonna get the crowd after that, but I didn't get the crowd after that.
Sorry to the grandmas out there.
I apologize to Ruth. I apologize to Gretchen. I apologize to Joan. I apologize to all of them. I apologize.
Big Gretch. Shout out to Big Gretch. We love you. We think
you see that last question? Hold on. Did you see that question from April?
That's word.
That's word. Yeah.
April? I saw that joint.
No. I just want to pause for a second and give a shout out to Big Gretchen, Gretchen Whitmer. I love you.
Yes.
I'm
thinking
Gretchen. About you. I hope that you don't shut down Michigan. We're doing our best to stay safe. Can't you see? We're all social distancing. We're all on this damn StreamYard. I think we should do the rest of this video in honor. Oh, see, look at Big Gretch. She coming through. Listen, Big Gretch. Listen. If you want us to wear masks for the rest of the video, I'm sure the guys don't mind, but I just had to.
I can't find my mask.
I had to stop the video because I'm not about to be mean to Big Gretch no more. Like, I'm not warring with Gretchen Whitmer no more.
Yeah.
I'm letting her know the war is over. She can be 823 God, the female version. I could be 823 God, the male version. And we could come together like the Lover's card. I could be the Black King and she could be the White Queen. And we can marry on 823 for political reasons. We don't gotta fight. Anyways.
You talk about political, spiritual marriage. This is what happens. This is what happens when you leave niggas to their own vices. This is what happens when you leave niggas to their own vices. Don't think I ain't see that shit in the chat. The nigga said he felt like Kevin Samuels in the chat. Like, don't think I ain't see that. Don't think I ain't see that. Don't think I ain't see that.
Getting donations. I'm about to come through with the theme music. Spotland. I can just say what's on your mind.
You gotta put your shaft jacket on. You gotta spray cologne everywhere.
Hold on. Let me get some colored lights here. Uh-oh. Different vibrations on you. Y'all didn't even know, did you? You didn't even know.
So done with this nigga, man.
Lights.
Never.
No. But listen, I'm gonna go in on this DMX because I like my version of DMX. I feel like, we could have put $10 million in different types of energies. I think the destructive black male was supported in the 90s more than there's a lot of men that I know, Kenan Thompson, his brother. I'm just talking about people that I personally know that helped me and tutored me and mentored me as a young man that went to college, and they didn't impose nothing. They didn't force me to do nothing. They just gave me their phone number and said, "Little bro, if you need somebody to talk to, you can call me." You know what I'm saying? If you need a ride or you fucked up, you stuck, you can call me. And if it wasn't for, I had to use their number a couple of times. Hey, man, I'm in a bad position, man. Come help me out. Oh, man, I'll be right there. Where you at? Check me the address. You know what I'm saying? So my reality is based upon men being there to support me in my overall development. So the concept of niggas talking about where my dog's at, where my bitch is at, and then finishing off with a prayer, that's hypocritical energy. Now, do I feel like he is a bad person? No, But I feel like it was a mistake for me in my adolescence to listen to people like Jay-Z, DMX, Nas, and these types of rappers. Although they had excellent skill, rapping skill, their overall messaging was highly destructive to my overall development as a young man. And I really needed to tune in. If I wanted to hear artistry, I should have been listening to people like John Coltrane,
Right.
Miles Davis, and sitting my ass down and learning music theory. Now, I know to the hip, cool black community, I sound like a lame, a square, and a nerd. And I'm perfectly fine with that energy because I'd rather be that than a motherfucker talking about, oh, you was great, but you smoke crack, or you was great, but, and you got to think about a society that will promote and support a person's destruction. Because I watched an interview that say, man, I used to hit a line of coke here and there when I was robbing niggas. You know what I'm saying? I used to smoke a little weed here and there, and I could never be no junkie because I was too broke to be a junkie, because every time I had to get high, I had to pay for it. So when you look at these young men, they not addicts because they couldn't afford it. The only way you can afford it, you give these people millions of dollars and you give them connects and say, call this person when you need it, right? And so you got millions of dollars. They know what you're going to do with that money. Right? And so you get in these drugs and these things like that. But all I'm saying is that this whole shit is designed. So when you reference the energy of Anubis, I'm not going to say that it was DMX at all, because it's nothing within his overall discography, within his energy, that aligned him with DMX other than he fucking growled and barked like a dog. It's nothing wrong with that. And it sounds like I'm bashing him, but Anubis is a deep mythological understanding that you need to sit the fuck down and sit with, because that's death, right? Everybody got to experience the other side. You need to understand that. And if you think that you're going to tune in and tap into Anubis by listening to some fucking DMX, you got your whole life fucked up and misunderstood. And understand, I could be completely wrong. That nigga could be Anubis in the flesh, and I'm a stupid ass, right? But that's just my opinion. Go ahead, guys.
I wanted to just say something to that because during that time, I saw a lot of different things. And me personally, I also had some things that were like occurring in my real life as well. And for me, I just feel as though when folks are seeing this, when folks are, watching entertainment or whatever and seeing all these things, I think that it's just it's just a sign that you really need to reflect on the people actually in your life. You may have lost somebody, something. Maybe that's what you need to be focusing on. And to his point, shout out DMX. Like, I love DMX, growing up and all of that. So no disrespect on his name, but at the same time, I think that a lot of times when we're seeing these things on TV, on the internet, that really should be a sign for us to really reflect on ourselves and the people who are actually in our lives versus just projecting what's going on through what we see.
Word. So I grew up watching him grow up. I grew up watching him, Eazy-E, Ice Cube, all them motherfuckers growing up, because hip hop, when it started out, was somewhat innocent. Like, a lot of motherfuckers, I got fucking Will Smith's album Parents Just Don't Understand, right? There was a battle going on where, like, Will Smith kept his lyrics clean. You had Dougie Fresh, who was like about to party, him and Slick Rick. And then you had like other cats, like UTFO with the Roxanne. They was trying to do like battles, you know what I'm saying? So hip hop was as varied as our interactions as a people. And because it was as varied as we are, we also saw the gangster element. And it was heavy on the East Coast. It was heavy on the West Coast. And what happened was it started to become I can one up you, because people was battle rapping, and then gangsters started getting into the battle rap. Well, how much weed you selling, how much crack you selling, how many guns you got, how many women you got, how many cars you get, and it spiraled off into this bullshit. And that's when you started getting a lot of people on the mic that was saying what they wish they had. So then you had people like Easy E coming out saying, "Oh, you got guns, fool? Tell me where you live so I could ride by and blow up your house. You know, if I start shooting and you ain't shooting back, then I know you was lying." So you had people starting to pull people's cars, right? You had Freddie Fox, especially with KRS. He was like very instrumental in I would say, let's just say he was around DMX, right? But you had like straight up.
But Freddie Fox is DMX on steroids, if you want to be technical.
Exactly. So then you have these images, again, the images, right? And the thing that wasn't helping was the record companies were like paying for this. They didn't care who you were. They didn't care if you went home to your Nana Esther's house at the end of the day when you left the studio, as long as when you was in the studio, you was talking about what you was busting with your guns and how much drugs you was peddling. So DMX, no disrespect to him, fell for that, right? Now, don't get me wrong. He had a traumatic life. You know, when he talked about the stuff that was done to him as a kid, no kid should be treated like that. And even Roxanne, the real Roxanne, came out and she put a video on that. I watched her, you know, I watched a lot of people talk about it, and I understand. All right, fine. A lot of people had traumatic backgrounds. But like you said, that I agree, barking don't necessarily make you Anubis. But I'll say the quality of Anubis that I think he possesses is one I saw in his later life. Like you look at some of the videos people showing now, you can see him eyes wide open, but they look drawn back. And to me, that like that's that trauma look, like that 1,000-yard stare, like people that don't sleep, right? You see them walking down the street and you just be still while they walking by because you don't want to get caught in the crosshairs. And it ain't that they mean or nasty. It's just that, you know, they full of some energy that you don't want. So at the same time, he knew this, he understood this, and he carried that, but he also carried the energy of redemption within himself, because that's why he was saying those prayers and he was trying to, you know, live on the righteous path and try to spew some righteousness, because he knew when he was grabbing the mic, according to his record contracts, that he was putting out some stuff that wasn't helping raise the youngins. So Anubis, oh my bad, I'm gonna wrap this up. Anubis was like,
oh, you cooking, OG? You cooking?
All right, when you pass, and this is the cosmology of it, then your heart, right, your anahata, your heart energy becomes measured against the feather of Ma'at. And Ma'at represents the platform on which creation was laid, because before Ma'at, everything was formless, and Ma'at formed the platform by which you could have matter, Ma'at, matter, creation. So now once you have that creation, then we understand that everything has its own place and time. And if everything has its own place and time, there has to be universal laws that balance how each individual piece of matter has its own place and time with respect to every other individual piece of matter in space and time. So Ma'at is like divine law, divine occurrence. How do we make this universe work where you have all these different moving parts? So the feather of Ma'at represents that lightness of living the truth that we all are one. We all came from the same platform. And if you can live your life and keep your heart light as a feather, then when you get to those scales in the Egyptian cosmology and your heart is weighed against Ma'at's feather, if your heart and that feather are equal, then, you know, you get to pass with your heart into the afterlife. If they're not, then your heart is given to Sebek or Anubis, right, in the form of the crocodile. So just like Scorpio has, like, what is it? Like you can be a scorpion, a snake, or an eagle. I forgot the different steps of it, right? You got to look at Anubis the same way. Anubis or Sebek is also the crocodile that will devour your heart in the afterlife, meaning you get a fresh start. You just have to be coming in as a new soul because you done messed up so bad with this one. You just got to start over, right? But Sebek or Anubis is also the one that's standing by the scale, looking at the measure, okay? And that look, that energy is not the thing causing the measure to happen. Sebek is a servant of Osiris and Heru and Ma'at. Sebek is just the one that is there to serve the body. Even in the preparation of the body for the afterlife, Sebek or Anubis is the one that opens the mouth so that the person can profess the 42 laws of Ma'at. I did not kill, I did not steal, I did not do such and such, right? So can you picture DMX as the person preparing another person to say their negative 42 confessions before they go into the afterlife? I personally cannot, but I do see how he embodies that dog energy, but I don't see him as like taking over that role or being an icon for that role. But I do see how he embodies that energy because he did see what his life was doing, and he was trying to have a balance of putting out that message, roof, and then saying, okay, I'm gonna pray. Because like all of the stuff coming on the Instagram I seen was of him, you know, saying those Bible verses and stuff like that, right? So everybody's trying to pump him up on that side. But I, like Hood said, I remember the other side too. When everybody else was coming up in hip hop and they had a choice whether to go gangster or, you know, stupefied or try and teach some knowledge to the youth, you know, people made their choices. People made their choices. So.
And it's a different thing if you enjoy the music and you observe it the same way as like if you like watch Scarface movies. Sometimes you could watch a movie about like Cuban gang wars or whatever, and you're like, that's some crazy ass stuff. Never gonna happen to me. Go about it. But when you think about these rappers and you're a young black male, me personally, I'm not talking about whether you enjoy the movie. It's a difference if you experience gangland wars in Miami, right? During the Cocaine Cowboys, you're not going to be so interested in the movie about it and the sensationalism and person saying that's a great movie. Well, I lost my mama. She got caught in a crossfire. Forget that movie. So as young men who deal with trauma of personally, and I know that without the music as a soundtrack, that doesn't happen, right? It doesn't happen. Maybe we go through a different rites of passage. Maybe we get into fucking boxing school and we fight our way through our rites of passage. Maybe we go to college and we learn our way as our rites of passage. But generally, we got to go to prison. A majority of young black males, I'm a good kid. It just didn't matter if I was a good kid or not. When I came into my neighborhood and my friends was telling me about their futures, I said, bro, I'm going to college. Fuck what y'all talking about. You know what they did? Them niggas laughed at me.
Yep.
They laughed at me because they knew that I was going to get devoured by the streets. They knew it. I didn't stand a chance. Okay. So when you think about this music, it's more than a feel-good music. He can be your idol. You can love him. That's you gotta hold that.
Real. Yeah.
You gotta hold that. You gotta love him for that. But you gotta understand my perspective in reference to hip hop music and how my children cannot listen to that because it's for them. It might not be for a young lady in Santa Monica, California, because she can listen to hip hop all day long. She's never going to be, she ain't never going to be clink clack and put your hands behind your back, don't move. She ain't going to never have her stomach touching and think, well, what the fuck am I going to do for money? Your homeboys got the weed sacks, got the crack sacks. You got $50, you can double that 50. All right, that sounds good because I am hungry.
Yeah.
And Jay-Z talk about it, and if I do it right, I might can be a kingpin. None of the niggas ever become kingpins. They only become dead and in jail. 2% of the niggas become kingpins. The rest of us are fucking sent to the slaughter. So it's the music is specifically made for young men to go to prison. That's why it's not okay for me. If you enjoy it and love it and vibe to it and rock to it, turn that shit to 50 and ride through your neighborhoods and rep that nigga. Don't take what I'm saying and make it ruin your movie experience. But I'm speaking my truth. Go ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate all of y'all points. I truly do. I think that it's a delicate situation when you're talking about speaking on people's upbringing, people's childhoods, right? So I'm from New York, right? I always say that, I grew up in New York, and my childhood was Jay-Z, Biggie Smalls, and DMX. Okay, that was my childhood. All right, you throw in the locks with that, and that was all I listened to for a good, I don't know, 10, 15 years, right? But I'm also an individual who can look back and know where I made my where I made my faults at, right? I can tell you that one of my favorite things growing up was, if it takes for me to suffer for my brother to see the light, then give me pain until I die. I used to live by that. That is a DMX line. Like, I literally used to live by that. If it takes for me to suffer, then give me pain until I die, just for my brother to see the light, right? So I understand both sides of the coin, or whatever side you find yourself sitting on. I understand hood, because I'm also a father, right? I understand prime, because these guys had options. They did not have to go down that road and take that route. You know what I'm saying? And I understand Jeff. Why do we wait for people to die in order for us to prop them up? And then at the same time, there are people in your everyday life that die every fucking day, B. Niggas die every day, B. And y'all niggas don't bat a fucking eye.
Imagine how DMX would have changed if all these people would have propped him up.
So when I look at DMX, I look at a cautionary tale. Okay, his life was a cautionary tale. You got to witness a man go from rags to riches and be an addict all the way through, and kill himself on TV all the way through. He killed himself. There's no way around it. You can shake this up. You can make it. You can prop it up and do whatever. Talk about all the stuff that people gave him and all these chances that people try. No. All right. At the end of the day, this man was an addict who died on TV. All right. He propped himself up as being an addict who had been through the worst times in life and brought himself through that, but still chose to be an addict. Okay. So I can't even touch that Anubis part, right? I don't know who April is. I appreciate the question. I can't even touch the Anubis part. I'm not going esoteric. I can't do that. That's not for me to do. That's not for me to judge. He doesn't resonate like that with me. Maybe he does with April. That's fine. But at the end of the day, the reality is the reality. That man was an addict on TV, and we revered him for it. We revered him for it. You brought all his music, you sung all his songs, and all of that shit. All of that shit. It was fly. It made you feel good. Whatever. All of that shit. Right? Where is he now? And where has that music brought you?
Yeah.
That's it. Where is he at right now? And where has that music brought you? That's it.
So if you got another artist in your life that you're thinking of, like DMX, and you like that person, then send them their flowers. Send them their flowers. And if you want them to have a better life or something like that, then send them a text. Tell them, hey, I support your music. Do you have any other songs on a different playlist, right? My daughter, she like hip hop music, but guess what? I'll be filtering the heck out of that joint. She listened to Saw Rock. I let her listen to Saw Rock all day long. I don't care, because she's spitting truth, right? She listened to KRS because I ain't got no problem with it, because he talking about knowledge of self. But would I let my daughter listen to the WAP? Hell no. She 8 years old. The hell she need to be listening to some WAP for?
So I can't even take I can't even take no grown woman to listen to them girls.
I don't think it's a point of judgment more than it's a point of personal understanding. And generally, as a Black man that does a lot of work in the community and tries to put my best foot forward, it's very, very hard. And it's extremely a world of double standards. They say it's a man's world, but it's generally, when they reference that, they reference a white man. They don't reference a man like me. And that's perfectly fine. And I know what I need to do to better myself. But sometimes you got to give men time to figure it out because it's very traumatic. And then on top of it, it's not like a person was ever a person to say that DMX was Anubis when, I mean, it's articles in reference to DMX being Anubis, but Anubis is an Egyptian god. The last time I checked, when he was alive, he was a crackhead. He was a this, he was a that, and nobody was checking for DMX for real, for real.
Mhm.
And it was all of these stories and all of these things, but I wonder what is it worth? Because I'm sure niggas will come out the woodworks about hood mystic stories. I need $5 for the gas tank because they raised this shit up, and niggas is just gonna be on cricket. Like, we just sent you donations, huh? So y'all sent them through YouTube. It take a month and a half. I haven't seen the YouTube check ever. I don't think, maybe $200 a year. Okay, I need 5 on the tank. Who got me? You feel me?
I got 5 on it.
Right? You
The
understand?
nigga said that this is a teaching moment. The nigga said $100 a year. So if you're getting into YouTubing, okay,
Yeah, it's not. It's not a thing.
You need to recheck your fucking
Supplement
life
that
choices.
income. Right. Supplement
Go ahead,
that
buddy.
income.
Yeah, you need to do some other different types of things, and it's just not like what I'm saying is that positive enforcement towards people that you really like who may be struggling with addiction. It's like they might need to be treated in a way because it's a lot of stigmatism. If I told y'all right now I was smoking crack, y'all would not say, "Hood Mystic, you the greatest. You a prophet. You doing the best thing ever." You'll be like, "That nigga Hood smoke crack. You shouldn't listen to him. He is a fucking crackhead. You need to just cut this video off." You heard what he just said? He said he smoked crack, girl, not weed. He smokes crack. No, we can't watch his videos no more. You understand? People will disrespect you and be so mean to you.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, because I don't try to treat people with that energy, but I do know that there is not based upon like good or bad out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? And go ahead.
They act in how they're taught to act. And again, is what Serpent said in the last video talking about imagery, right? We get these images because the only people, if you ain't ever grow up around crack, then shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay.
Right.
I've seen some good people strung out on crack. And I've seen people strung out on crack.
Let me just say this one thing, because y'all saying that I've never heard of a person overdosing on crack in my life. And I could be wrong. But
goddamn,
I ain't heard of it.
No, you ain't wrong. They live longer than vegetarians. They live longer than vegetarians.
I look outside my window, see crackheads. They look they doing all right. So that's weird. But go ahead.
But go ahead.
You know, I've seen people kill themselves because they couldn't shake the habit, and I mean literally commit suicide. I've seen people shake it and go on to do better with their lives. And I've seen people that weren't able to shake it, right? But the thing that people miss is that our society tends to criminalize addicts. And to me, that's just so wrong because they steal people. They steal your family. They steal your friends. They steal, JoJo down the street. The only
blood is thicker than water. Blood is thicker than water.
Exactly. We're going in there. So, but they steal who they are, and the difference is people don't understand addiction as a disease. Now, the thing that pisses me off, and I say piss raw, the thing that pisses me off is that Black people were suffering through, crack and speed and meth and cocaine and all kinds of other shit, but it wasn't until it hit the burbs. Now they got motherfuckers in Rhode Island trying to what's that shit? Narcan? Is that what's that shit called? They be giving people that shit. So if they come across somebody having an OD, they can save them. Nigga, treat them like you treated us and throw their motherfucking ass in jail while they foaming at the mouth. God damn it. Fuck all that. You know what I'm saying? Giving them Narcan. Man, anyway, I'm just saying people that
tell them why you mad, Prom. Tell them why you mad.
Because people that have addictions are still people.
Right. And it's the same thing. My analogy about people with their legs cut off. We dog DMX and we clown DMX because he ain't have no feet. And he couldn't even make it to the store to get no food. And what generally happens is that our people starve from lack of attention. Right now, when he dead, niggas is scavenging for clips about all of his good deeds and all of his prayers and all of that. Man, that's so unfortunate, and it's so cautionary. It's so cautionary to, that's why I have y'all on the platform, because a person ain't gonna say, well, Hood said he liked me or whatever. No, man, we gotta give y'all flowers while y'all here. So y'all know how it is. But once again,
the only thing I was gonna say on that, not the end, let you end it real quick, but the only thing I was gonna say is that human beings, you call yourself a human, right? Human beings by nature are addicts. All right. Human beings by nature are addicts. You're all addicted to something. It's just certain people think that they can judge people based on what they are addicted to.
Right. And in sobriety,
you are a creature of habit. You know what I'm saying?
No, listen, but in sobriety, they have a saying that the alcoholic goes to the weed head and says, well, at least I don't smoke weed. And the weed head goes to the coke head and says, well, at least I don't smoke coke. And the coke head goes to the meth head and says, well, at least I ain't on meth. And the meth head goes to the heroin addict and says, well, at least I don't do heroin, but they all fucking addicts. So at the end of the day, we would learn more compassion and more about giving each other flowers while we're alive. Because who's to say that he's getting all of this ashe, especially now within his transition? Maybe you got to wait a 41-day period of his transition and then play his music. But when you reference the Nubian dialect and dialogues in reference to him, like, I ain't gonna say that I channeled DMX, but I'm gonna say it. I channeled DMX, and my man was hurt because he's seen all the love and he's seen all the attention, and he said, "Damn, if I would have knew people really felt like this, I would have made better decisions." I thought that people really felt me like I was a crackhead. I went on fucking the Drink Champs, and motherfuckers was laughing at me, calling me a crackhead and saying I sound stupid.
And he lived the statement that you said, Ra. He lived that statement. If I gotta suffer to see my brother rise, then damn it,
give me pain until I die. I mean, what the only issue I have with all of that is just that you can't honor somebody while they are here. But
you can.
No, you can. But these people, right? These people can't honor people while they are here, but then they want to have a profound conversation after they are gone. Why can't we have that conversation while they're walking around?
Yeah,
because it's hard. Because it's like
it ain't hard, my nigga. It ain't.
It's hard.
Right.
It's hard. It's hard for us to get up on here and have a positive conversation in reference to black men. If a black man ain't skimming or scamming, popular culture don't give a hell about him. We could talk about Derek Jackson. We could talk about Steve Harvey. We can talk about Kevin Samuels all day because they have an incorrect message that will further divide the black community. So they will get all of the attention. They will be on everybody's algorithm. They'll be on everybody's conversation because they need melanated people. And let's just not say melanated people because it's some white people. There's white people in the groups that I hate white women. I hate white men, right? And so if they can get white men that hate white women, that's good too, right? Because if they can get Chinese women that hate Chinese men, that's even better. As long as genders can hate each other,
then they're gonna be making money.
Unite. And these agent provocateurs, right, will continuously mislead the people, and we will have conversations like this. But I want to end it on this last topic. We've been talking for close to 2 hours, but I feel like this conversation has been good and healthy and also triggering. So whatever I don't know how we went from laughing Buddha is like, I'm about to fight these niggas if they I'm sitting here laughing and ain't nobody laughing. I'm not laughing. Buddha is the only person laughing right.
You talk about niggas' childhood. Niggas will fight you over that, bro.
Yeah, man. Don't you talk bad about my mama.
I've lost count how many niggas I almost had to fight over Tupac. I swear, I can't say nothing about Tupac. Niggas want to fight me. Listen, I will fight you. I will fight you over Tupac and talk all shit on Tupac. Go ahead.
To end this episode, I want you guys to be violent. You know, I want you guys to be mean and obliterate the concept of blood is thicker than water. I don't want it to exist because when it comes to my overall success is based upon complete and utter strangers. I got shout out to my cousin Jackie, shout out to my cousin DA, shout out to my cousin Duran. That's it. Shout out to y'all for supporting the kid. Shout out to my brother Malik. Okay. Got about a handful of people that support the kid. But other than that, I mean, I love all four of y'all, but all four of y'all wouldn't be able to allow for my platform to grow and expand, even though really do appreciate y'all support. But for the most part, when it comes to my overall support, it's from complete and utter strangers, people I don't know, never know, wouldn't know from a hole in the wall, probably walk past you and go, ew, right? But we still getting it in. We all doing this thing. And I feel like water is much thicker than blood now. You guys, what's y'all opinion? And then give y'all closing words, y'all Instagram and things like that once you get finished.
I'll go last because I gotta use the bathroom, so I'll go last.
All right. You want to go, Jeff?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. It ain't. God damn it. It ain't. I'm sorry, fam. I don't know what to say. It ain't yeah, like to his point, I've been on this like weird kind of little bender where every few days I meet a stranger and that stranger ends up being somebody that I need in that moment, and somebody that I can benefit from, but I know that I can help them as well, and I'm just building off of stuff. It was a very close friend of mine's birthday last week, and he's somebody who's on this path, pretty early on, and his family, like, he's been saying certain things and trying to guide him and stuff. His family didn't respect him and did something very, very disrespectful to him the week of his birthday. I'm gonna just say it. Him trying to express himself freely to them, they ended up sending him to a psych ward.
Damn.
It's the people close to you, they think that they're doing best, but folks are really dealing with their own emotional issues, and they project the people who claim and think that they know you. They really don't. They don't know what you're going through. They haven't experienced it, but they think that they have an idea because of what they've seen. Be careful who you share, information with and in this path with. Just have that discernment of knowing that everything isn't for everybody in the sense of what you share with folks. Because somebody who you've never met is probably honestly going through that same experiences. Again, we're all connected here. So everybody has some level of resonance and things like that. And man, yeah, just make sure you're communicating. That's not to say I'm not saying cut out family. Families are beautiful thing. Always keep them in check, in line, and know what's going on. But also understand that what we're talking about is very real, and in our bloodlines we have real traumas that folks really need to work through, and we need to understand that folks probably just haven't done that work that maybe we've done to get here, to be having this type of conversation. So maybe you shouldn't be having this conversation with those folks. Maybe you need to stick with that soul family for real.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I should.
What's your Instagram?
IG?
Yeah. Instagram.
I
you can catch me. I am Jeff. As you see it spelled here, Jeff.Elijah 144 is kind of my personal. I'm also business. I am in the cannabis industry, and I do have. I am working to be able to.
You're working to
help
arrange my retirement party, you said?
that for sure, but any
Is it gonna have
individual.
Tata Delicious? Is it gonna have Tata Delicious?
All I'm saying,
Tatalicious
Wait, hold
will be
on. I
making a
can't answer
secret
that. My wife is
appearance.
sick.
all I'm
Okay.
saying,
Wait a second.
all I'm saying is I know some dancers who like to do deliveries. So who knows what might
Like to
become
do
of everything.
deliveries. Oh my
But
gosh.
but anybody looking to get into the cannabis space, or just is interested. Like I'm in DC. I'm starting here, in the city. But look at, I'm growing everywhere. Follow me. I also, my business account is Elijah Green 144. Follow that as well, and just show
Word.
support as best you can, and I'll show love back.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna be real quick on this blood thickening water. I like what King Kimbit put in the chat. You can't have blood without water, right? That's just mechanically impossible because your blood cells do not freaking flow through your body by themselves. They have to be supported by that current of blood plasma, which is majority water. So like Jeff said, I love my family, right? But if I had to rely on my family for my livelihood, I'd have been in trouble. Don't get me wrong, my mom supported the hell out of me, okay? And my dad, I love him, bless his heart. He just didn't have the financial savvy that was probably needed to raise two boys at a distance. Don't get me wrong, he sent child support when he could. I wish it could have been more, but what the hell do I know? I had a good life. I'm good, right? All I'm saying is if I had to solely depend on family for my livelihood, I'd be in trouble. Now, that being said, like I said, I love my family, my whole family. But I also know that my blood family is just one family because every time I have incarnated onto this planet, even though I may have come in through the same bloodline, I have also come in through other bloodlines. And in those other bloodlines, I've made connections with people. So I have a physical family, but I also have a spiritual family. And that spiritual family isn't confined to my skin color or my geographic location. I've met people around this world that have been nice and helpful to me. In my world travels, I've met people that have just made my life supreme just because they were there at the right time. The whole reason I have
Shout
a
out to
PhD.
Spirit, dude. I
Yes.
felt just
Oh my
felt to
God.
just throw it out there. You just speaking to my soul. So
Yeah, man.
shout out
Hell
to
yeah.
Spirit out there.
Shout
Shout
out
out
to
to
you.
Dula. Shout out to Dula.
Yep. And so the whole reason I have a PhD is because this white man from Buffalo, New York, who at one point in my youth, if I saw him walking through my hood, I probably would have been making fun of him, right? But when I went to grad school and I met him, I was honest about my study, and he saw that, and he took a chance with me, and let me work in his lab. And I got my master's degree and my PhD under him. But if you saw us together, you'd be thinking, why the hell is he standing with him? You know what I'm saying? The machinist at A&T was this white guy from Pennsylvania, Bill Nagel, rest his soul. I was underwater in the sub when he passed, so I couldn't get to his funeral. But I love that man because he taught me everything I know about machining that I never learned in the books. And he said that he was a straight up racist because that's how he was raised. But through his life, he learned that when he lifted the D's, that black people weren't doing him no harm. And he was wondering why he was hating them. And he changed his whole demeanor. And then he started working at a historically black college and university, teaching in the machine shop. I had tons of conversations with this cat. The people in my life that have helped me elevate have not been from my blood family. My blood family gave me the foundation to be able to deal with people out in the world. But then I had to deal with people out in the world. And those people out in the world was water. They ain't know me. They ain't have no obligation for me. They ain't have to put no bread in my plate. They ain't know me from Adam. But they took a chance on me. They took a chance and I ran with it. Every time somebody give me a chance, I do my best to run with it. So hell's yeah, man. And we were looking for a statement to bust up the notion of blood being thicker than water. And I think what King Kimbit said just nails it. You can't have blood without water. So thank you, King Kimbit.
What's your IG, family?
Oh, my bad. I'm on Instagram at prime.harmonic on Instagram. I do not rub butts for fees like Serpent. I get in trouble.
So I'm not afraid to tell. So what? Okay. So
and y'all check out King Kimbit on my bad, Serpent. Y'all check out King Kimbit on IG. She got poetry and music, you know. Hit her up.
Blood is thicker than water.
And before I go any further, all of these topics were 90% done by I'm not Prime Harmonic. I get them confused, but Dark Serpent is the producer for this show. Yes. He did such a wonderful job. He got everybody triggered. Let's give a round of applause. Yes. Dark Serpent triggering us this evening.
The trigger man. We're going to start calling him the hitman.
Thank you.
Blood is thicker than water. I guess when they made that statement, or when that was created, the individual who made it was trying to give off the implication that thicker is better. Unless you're talking about ta-ta-ta-licious, like thicker ain't no way better. Okay, listen. I'm gonna find Tata. Tata is gonna find me. All right. I'm sorry. I put it out there. I manifested it. Delicious. She coming.
Keep saying it's a mantra. It's a deal. You gotta say the Bayhan 108 times in the mirror. And say it under. You gotta do it under 108 times. You gotta light a pink candle. And play City Girls very, very low. Play City Girls at a low volume, like 2 or 3, right? Because if you turn it up too loud, City Girls got bop. So you would start, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're right. Barking bad, never with a nigga. Right, you know what I'm saying? And then you would get off the mantra. So turn it to 2 or 3, and then go. Tata-talicious, 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 tata-talicious. 108 times.
Y'all keep saying that.
She's gonna come out. She's gonna show up.
My mirror is ready. I'm getting that done tonight. Okay. I will take my red candle and make it pink tonight. That's called alchemy. Okay.
I do it all the time.
So the idea is that thicker is better, right? But so is thicker better when you have a mother or a father or a brother or a sister who's just completely treating you like shit your entire existence? Are you being raised in a good house, in a really, really fucked up house, right? And then you get old enough to be able to do something for yourself. Are you supposed to stay in that house because blood is thicker than water? Oh, all right. So when someone really does something in detriment to you and they just happen to be family, right? Are you just supposed to just brush that off and say, oh, blood is thicker than water?
Wow.
Like we have these things and they sound good when other people say them. And then we say them ourselves and we think they sound good too. And that's only because we haven't done any fucking critical thinking about it. But if you actually apply a little bit of critical thinking, just a little bit, the majority of the fucked up shit that happened to you in your life probably came from a family member. It didn't come from the white man. It didn't come from no fake ass oppressors across the boat. You know what I'm saying? It didn't come from Biden. It didn't come from Trump. It didn't come from Bush. It didn't come from 9/11, nigga. It didn't come from DMX and all of the rap, nigga. It came from one of the motherfuckers that was in your house. Right? You are a product of your fucking environment, correct? Your environment is that upbringing that you were brought up in. So what happens when all of these thicker than water motherfuckers are the ones bringing you down and keeping you down? You supposed to just stay there? Huh? Because it's thicker? Huh? Is it gonna soak up all your trauma? Huh? Fuck out my face, man. Listen, man. You love those that love you, regardless of the fucking blood that's flowing through their veins, man. Let's keep it a buck, man. You love who love you. I don't give a fuck what they got in their veins. Because guess what? Your significant other is your woman, right? Before y'all had kids, there was no blood going through that vein, right? Tell me a nigga who gonna say his family is more important than his fucking girl. Tell me a nigga that's gonna say his woman is more important than his fucking like that's not even reality. Okay? It's not reality. Blood is not thicker than water. It could be thicker than water. It ain't better than water, nigga. I'm sorry. Instagram, Sacred Serpent, Sacred_Serpent 0823. You already know what it is. Chakra
So we chose
you already know what it is. I'm sorry. You said violent. You told me violent. Nigga, I only know how to speak violent and violent. You understand me? You ain't say delicate. You ain't say fragile. You said violent, nigga. I only know one violent.
I said choose violence, and you chose violence. So we reiterate in the concept of blood is thicker than water. Hey, next week, Rob, we expecting a better show. You're gonna have to come through with the production. Wow. You know, if y'all enjoyed this show, you know, in the chat, in the comment, give Rob a round of applause. Give the hand clap emoji. Our producer extraordinaire. We finally got a podcast for real because we got a producer. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
If Tata not throwing it back on the wake and shake, I don't want no claps, nigga. I don't want no
claps. No, we appreciate you, Serpent, for producing this show. So now we expect you to come through next week with an even better show. Right, we appreciate you for your candidness and your openness and your fearlessness and your courageness and your divine masculinity. Right. It's not enough of it, and we're just holding the space.
The little Buddha man on the top. Can I tickle his stomach?
He started crying at a particular point where y'all started talking about DMX. He stopped laughing and started crying. He said, "What is going on? This is supposed to be a positive vibration." Jolly. Yeah, y'all ruining my energy. I need to get off this. Why did he even put me on this thumbnail? Get me off of this. Man. So we got to end this video for Laughing Buddha ruin his whole reputation. Like, I'm not supposed to be a part of this.
That's right.
Yeah.
Maybe next time we have a patron saint that's much more serious and much more down to business. But
you know what happened then? We'll be laughing.
Yeah, and now we'll be laughing, and Laughing Buddha be like, "Well, where was this energy last week? Y'all talking about DMX and the nudist and stuff, ruining my vibe completely. You know, I want to have a good time, not a long time. But you know, thank you guys for holding space. It wouldn't have been nothing without you guys. Jeff, I appreciate your contributions. Prime as always, Sacred as always. Thank you for your time, energy, and effort. The donations is cool, but it's awesome, and I would encourage it. But you know, hit us up in the DM, join the band app. You know, help us with our content. You know, we are on the band app. We trying to talk. We trying to get on Instagram group chats. But have something to talk about, have something to contribute. We're not doing this for entertainment. This is what Prime Harmonic said. This is infotainment. We having a good time and enjoying ourselves because we rather deliver a message like that than delivering it like the Clear Eyes guy. But I got my family waiting for ice cream right now, so I got to do my ice cream run, my nightly ice cream run, which is turning into, which is super weird, and I think I need to put my foot down. But I'm gonna have to figure this out. But we about to go get some ice cream, I guess. But no, peace to the family, and I'll see y'all in the flip.
Peace.